Hey there, how's it going? Welcome back to the Let's Play world. Get you somebody that looks at you the same way Chad looks at me. Hey buddy, you want some steak? No, he doesn't want any steak. In the last episode, I built the storage tunnels for all of my tree farm plots. Then I updated my world to 1.16, and to finish off the episode, I made a note block tune for daytime and nighttime. I'm feeling kind of tired. I better go to sleep. Nice. I have a resource pack on now, so you can actually see all of the different notes that are playing here. And I'll tell you what the songs are now. The nighttime tune is from Minecraft Universe, and the daytime tune is from the outro song of One Punch Man. Absolute clangers. I'll link them in the description. Now, ever since I updated my world in the last episode, I've been thinking, man, it'd be nice to get my world all the way updated. But there's one big reason why I haven't done that yet. And here we have Exhibit Reason. This is the Bedrock project, and the goal was simple. Clear out all of the space around my beacons at the bottom of my world, dig up all of the blocks in between the bedrock. Oh no, no, not this time. Thought you could fool me. But you didn't. And yeah, replace it all with black stained glass. And if the issue wasn't already apparent, the Caves and Cliffs update breaks the bedrock layer and goes down another 100 blocks or so. So all of this bedrock here will turn into deep slate, and this will no longer be the bottom of my world. So the way I saw it, I had two choices. I could either take this all down and rebuild it at the new bedrock level, or I just finish it as is, and when I do update to Caves and Cliffs, I'll do something different at the lower levels. It didn't take me long to choose the latter. But thinking about working on this thing after I've updated just didn't feel as special to me, so I decided that I'm not going to update until I have finished this entire project. And what that means for me is everything I should be doing from here on out should prioritize working on this project. And that brings me to my super smelter. This thing is the engine that pumps out all of the glass that we need, but it's got some issues. A lot of issues. There's a bit of a story behind this project. It's based off of a super smelter design that ilmango made for the SciCraft server, but I ripped out a bunch of the components for it to make it simpler, and that ended up being a bad idea. There was a shulker box unloader and loader, and I was like, oh, I don't need that. And there was a confusing little circuit that created a very specific timer, which ended up being very important because it made the minecarts dispense items into the furnaces at the exact amount of time that it takes an item to smelt. This is my timer, and it is not correct. And ultimately, I was left with a project with two main issues. The first one is because I don't have a shulker box unloading station, I can only fit this many items into the super smelter. And the reason why I can't just add more chests and hoppers like this is because it's sucking the items out with a hopper minecart, and that works at 4 times hopper speed. So the only way I could keep up with the flow of items is to just manually shift them in, and that's no good, especially considering the sheer quantity of glass that I'm gonna need for the bedrock project. And the second issue is that because my timer here is not correct, there's a gap between when a furnace finishes smelting an item and when a new item is put in. The best way to visualize this is to get this baby running. So I'm gonna run over here and grab some fuel. Oh, and believe me, I'm gonna be talking about the fuel too. Okay, let's throw it in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stacks. That will get dispersed evenly amongst all 160 furnaces. 5 stacks is double that, so each furnace is gonna have 2 items. Now let's get it going. Might as well use sand, right? First items are gonna get sent out, and right when it's done smelting, boom, there's the gap. That gap is what I'm talking about. Now I know what you're probably thinking, right? It's just a small gap of time, it's not a big deal. No, you're wrong. The problem with gaps like that is if I wanna use fuel sources that smelt multiple items at a time, such as coal, it's not gonna be able to utilize the full efficiency of that fuel. For instance, if a furnace is continuously running, one piece of coal can smelt 8 items exactly. But because we lose efficiency from that gap, we're probably only gonna get 5, maybe 6 out of it. Don't say it. Don't say it. But that's not that big of a deal. No, stop. You're doing that thing where you're wrong again. At the rate I would be smelting things, the loss of efficiency would add up very quickly and I would be wasting a lot of fuel. Plus, morally, I just don't agree with it. Oh yeah, and because I don't have a shulker box loading station, I've got this thing. Great. And that brings me to the doors. So my brilliant solution to the gap problem is, I'm just not going to use fuel that smelts multiple items. And doors have a 1-to-1 ratio, so one door will smelt one item. Great solution, right? Wrong. Very wrong. Let's do some quick math here. 1 log equals 4 planks. 6 planks equals 3 doors. That means that 3 logs equals 6 doors. Now, alternatively, I could take this log and smelt it into charcoal. This charcoal smelts 8 items. So I have the choice between turning 3 logs into 6 items that I can smelt, or 1 log into 8. Like, this was such a dumb solution. I'm sacrificing efficiency in a different place so that I can not lose efficiency in the other. I'm still losing efficiency! All of this glass has been smelted this way, and I've been manually chopping down all the trees too. What have I been doing? I'm gonna go make some tea before I pop a blood vessel. Okay. Oh, that's good. Okay, so where do we go from here? We definitely need this thing running on all cylinders to produce all the glass we need for the bedrock project, and I'm not ready to give up on this thing. As much as it's been a hassle, it's been a passion project for me, and I'm gonna see this thing through for better or worse. So let's do a quick review. Problem 1, the input and output sucks. Solution, add a shulker box loader and unloader. Problem 2, we have a gap in item distribution due to a timing issue. Solution, fix the timing issue. Now, my first idea was to figure out how to rebuild this thing exactly block for block the way that ilmango built it. After all, I have the schematic file for it. So I went into a creative world, rebuilt it, took one look and went, so that was out. Then my second idea was to carefully go back through his video and piece together the components individually, which worked a lot better for me because it allowed me to understand how the components worked on their own. And then it was just a matter of connecting it together my way, which, to be fair, is a lot more stupid and less pretty. But that didn't matter because after a couple hours of trial and error, I was able to get it. And most importantly, I actually understand how it all works. So if there are ever any issues, I should be able to troubleshoot them. I would not have been able to do that with this beautiful monstrosity. So I have the different components color-coded so it's easier to see what's going on here. The purpur is the shulker box unloader. The prismarine is the shulker box loading station, which has a minecart station at the top that splits it 8 ways. So 4 blocks go this way, 4 blocks go this way, and there's a shulker box loading station on each side. The netherrack here is a perfect 50-50 item splitter that ensures that when we get shulker boxes into the system from the unloader, it will send it down to the loading station and make sure we have one on each side. This means that when I use the super smelter, I'm gonna wanna put in batches of 2 shulker boxes at a time. I could do an uneven amount, but it would just mean that I would end up with 2 shulker boxes that are half full. Also, I didn't design this, ilmango did. Ilmango made this too. And finally, in the sandstone over here, we have my nemesis, the timer. Back when I first did this, I could not figure out how to get this thing to work, but I took another stab at it and I figured it out. So this is me talking to myself in the past. I'm better than you. The amount of items per minecart was also adjusted from 2.5 stacks to 2 stacks and 16. This is because that amount fits into a shulker box exactly 12 times. This also means that the number of furnaces was reduced from 160 to 144. And look at that, no gap. Also, after a few trials, I determined this thing takes 8 minecarts to the mag, but I put in 9 just as a buffer. So I'm basically at the point now where I'm ready to build this thing in my world, but because I added the shulker box loading station, the interface is now like 4 blocks taller than it used to be. Now, I could just be lazy and build around it, but this area already feels kind of cramped as it is. Like, look, if I go into spectator mode here, I'm like 2 or 3 blocks from poking through the surface. So I'm gonna tear this all out, remove the whole super smelter, and rebuild it about 4 or 5 blocks down. Oh man, I better get to work. Hey, so I'm in between time-lapse takes right now, and I just wanted to mention that I've broken like my third mending pick now. I'm down to 3, so I gotta go make a bunch more. It's a very sad time for me. This is actually really convenient because I got a bunch of XP from mining all those furnaces. But even 50 levels didn't prove to be enough for 4 mending picks. You guys need to be quiet, okay? Okay, great. Yep, bye my noises. Okay, great. That should tide me over for hopefully a little while. And I guess I'll turn you guys back on. Is this good? Ah! Let's get out of here. Okay, back to work. All right, and welcome back to the finished product here. Well, not quite the finished product. We still have to do a little bit of testing to make sure everything is working as it should. The first and easiest one is to test out this item splitter here for the shulker boxes. So I'm gonna load the shulker boxes into here, which will simulate when they're put into the shulker box unloader and then destroyed with the piston. So we're gonna throw these in here. And they should, in theory, be perfectly split. 2 on this side, 2 on this side. We'll see. 2 on this side, 2 on this side. Yes! I fear that the things coming up will not be so easy. For the next one here, I want to test the shulker box loading station. I've got a shulker box with 9 items in here. And I'm going to go ahead and destroy this comparator just so it doesn't activate the system, because I don't want it sending all that stone off. Let's throw the shulker box in here. And in theory, it should unload it all into these 2 mine carts and break the shulker box. We shall see. This isn't looking good. Okay, so I believe this dropper needs an item in it, and that'll solve all my problems, right? Okay, let's try this again. Throw that in there. Oh, get rid of that so it doesn't go into the system. Now items aren't going into the hoppers. Okay, cool. Oh, the old shulker box is still in here, so I can pick that up. Yeah. Now, if I clear out the system, okay. Now I put this in here, and what am I looking for? Making sure that this gets broken when it's empty. Ah! Test number 2 down. So this next one here is the one that I'm really afraid of. It's the timer. Yeah, I better just go for it and hope this thing works. Okay, so I'm gonna break this and put a block here. That way the minecart can actually fill up the furnaces. Fingers crossed, we should get a hopper minecart with exactly a stack and 16 items. That's what we're looking for here. It didn't send out a minecart, did it? And now it's breaking. Cool. Why can't you just be normal? Oh, it's because I put glass here and it messed up the whole system. Yeah, okay, stop it, stop it, stop it. Put the blocks in here. No, no, be normal, be normal. Oh, okay, wait, no, I understand now. I'm understanding things. So I take this, remove this. That's why I saw a piece of redstone dust earlier, because this one got popped off when the piston was pushed over, because I put the glass in there. I'm learning. Okay, so now I put in 10 blocks. Please, just stay. Okay, all right, we fixed it. I think I'm ready to go. 1, 2, 3, 3 stacks. We're looking for 2 stacks and 16. Beautiful. Okay, the timer works perfectly. Great. I can find myself breathing a little bit easier now. There is, however, one last thing we have to worry about, and that is the shulker box loading station. This thing actually went through a bit of a redesign midway through the time-lapse because I noticed an issue where the items weren't splitting correctly. TLDR, as the minecart approaches the station, the first minecart below would pick up items a little bit earlier than the second one, which means our 2 shulker box stations are not going to be filling up evenly, and it's going to be a whole mess. Now, I spent half the day tinkering around trying to come up with solutions. Some of them involved trying to realign the minecarts, some of them involved trying to lock the first minecart for a second, and the solution that ended up working was avoiding the issue altogether by dropping the minecart straight down into place. I did this by replacing the first detector rail from the ore gate with a tripwire for when the minecart goes straight down. The only issue with this solution is it meant that I would have to drop the loading stations down another 3 blocks, which meant that all the stuff that I'd worked on in the time-lapse had to be taken apart, so I ended up scrapping that first take. But of course, the second take was successful, and I even tested it before I moved forward to make sure that it worked, so I'm fairly confident that this test should go smoothly, but I'm just gonna do it one more time for the sake of redundancy, and then we should be completely golden. Okay, so let's load this thing up. I'm gonna do 4 stacks of items, throw that in here, and yep, you can see it just drops straight down into place, and in theory, we should see 2 stacks of items on this side and 2 stacks of items on this side. I'm gonna cry if this doesn't work. I might legitimately cry. Oh. Oh, yes. All right, so before I use this thing for the first time, I want to double check to make sure that all of the hoppers and all of the furnaces are empty. I don't want any surprises or anything that might clog up the system. I feel like I'm doing a systems check before a flight. Timer, check. Shulker loader, check. Furnaces, clear. And now that that's done, I'm gonna go ahead and cover all of the hoppers with glass. That way there's no chance that anything can fall into them. And now all we have left to do is fuel up. So I've procured some charcoal here, and I got exactly enough to smelt 2 full shulker boxes of sand. If you remember, 1 shulker box fills up the system 12 times, so each furnace is gonna have 12 items in it, but we have 2, so that's gonna be 24. So when thinking about the amount of fuel needed, I just need to think, okay, what can smelt 24 items in each furnace? And that can be 3 pieces of coal. And if we've got 144 furnaces, which is 2 stacks and 16, that means we need that 3 times. Math is fun. Of course, in practice, I'm gonna be loading these furnaces up with fuel so I don't have to count it out every time, but I'm doing it now just for the sake of accuracy. All right, so let's send this thing off. Maybe. Come on, there we go. And then send off the last bit. Come on. Okay, and we should have, nice, 3 in each furnace. Fuel, check. Okay, I've done all that I can do. The only thing that's left is to just go for it, so let's do it. Throw those in, and we're looking for 2 stacks and 16. Awesome. And there is actually a bit of an overlap, but it ensures that there is absolutely no way we're gonna lose efficiency from our fuel here, so that's awesome. And yep, it empties the minecart out completely, so we are exactly smelting 2 stacks and 16 every time. This drops down. Unloads very quickly, beautiful. And finally, I saved the best for last. I went ahead and let the smelter completely finish here, and what we should see is a full shulker box here, a full shulker box there, and 1 shulker box in each of the loading dispensers. I'm nervous. Okay, here we go. Full, full, shulker box, shulker box. I did it! Oh, I did it! Oh man, the amount of time that I've put into this, so much stress and testing and failure. It's all culminated to this beautiful point right here. To say that this project tested my sanity is really an overreaction. It wasn't that bad, and it was a great learning experience. Now, we are by no means done yet. We still need to figure out where we are going to deliver these filled shulker boxes. We need to finish up the terraforming work, which, by the way, I am very pleased with how it's turned out so far. Then there's a whole matter of how I'm going to redesign the interface, and of course, where the fuel is going to be coming from and how it's going to be made. All of these things I've pretty much figured out already, but my objective for this episode was to get this thing built and working correctly, and I did that. So I'm gonna go ahead and end the episode for today. It has been extremely successful, and I'm very pleased with my progress. If you're interested in the other things that I'm going to be doing, make sure to subscribe so that you can catch the next episode. Other than that, you know the drill. Support the channel if you believe that it deserves it. But that's it for this video. Take it easy, and I'll see you next time.